Eagle Broadcasting Corporation not only provides news and entertainment, but also fulfills its social responsibility through clean-up drives, blood donations, medical mission, and livelihood seminar. Eagle Broadcasting Corporation into its 50th year.
Come on, man.
Matindi pa rin ang problema ng bansa sa basura. Madalas, pagtapunan nito ay ang mga gilid ng kalsada at daluyan ng tubig o mga creek at mga ilog.
Sa tuwing dumarating ang malalakas na pag-ulan o may bagyo, ang resulta, dagat ng basura. Hindi kinakatakutang puntahan para makakuha ng mga bagay na pwedeng pakinabangan o ibenta.
Batay sa mga pag-aaral, 52% ng mga basura ay tinatawag na organic waste o nabubulok. Kaya maaari itong gawing feeds o pataba na mahalaga sa mga halaman.
Ang mga hindi naman nabubulok pwedeng i-recycle. Dito pumapasok ang tatlong letrang R sa waste management, ang reduce, reuse at recycle.
Sa tamang pagsinop ng basura, maraming magagandang produkto ang maaring magawa at pwedeng pagkakitaan. Gaya na lamang ng dekorasyon o gamit sa bahay, opisina at paaralan.
Kaya mahalagang magkaroon ng disiplina sa pagtatapon ng basura. Bukod sa malulutas ang polusyon, kay gandang pagmasdan ang malinis na kapaligiran.
Sa pagiging malikhain, makakatipid ka at pwedeng magkaroon ng dagdag na kita sa mga bagay na dapat sana'y itatapon na. Ako si Mylene Mariano Rivera.
At ako naman po si Erwin Temperante.
Kaisa kami at ang programang Agila Balita sa Umaga sa pagtataguyod ng waste management sa bansa.
Happy 50th anniversary, Eagle Broadcasting Corporation. God bless you and more power.
I am here at Gastown, which is a National Historic Site in Vancouver, British Columbia. Located in Vancouver's oldest neighborhood is the steam-powered clock, which is Gastown's most famous landmark. Make sure to tune in to Digital Nest every Tuesday and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. I am Lou Aquino, EBC correspondent, and I am one with 25.
Ano ang tunay na kahulugan ng tagumpay? What is the meaning of success to Miss Gladys?
True meaning of success for me is good health, intact family, of course, and strong foundation of a strong spiritual foundation.
Pangasilangan.
Iba't ibang di pangkaraniwang pangyayari ang nagaganap sa ating komunidad sa buong bansa at magiging sa iba't ibang panig ng daigdig.
Mga pangyayaring nagpapakilo sa damdamin, nagsisilbing inspirasyon at nakakaapekto sa mga mamamayan.
Sa mata ng Agila, patuloy kaming maghahatid ng tunay, patas at balanse mga balita na walang ibang motibo kundi serbisyo publiko.
Subaybayan ang mga hatid naming balita sa Eagle News PH Facebook at Twitter pages.
At sa Eagle News Live YouTube channel.
At sa aming website, ang eaglenews.ph.
Mata ng Agila. Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 6 hanggang alas 7:30 ng gabi.
Events happen around us all the time. In our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced. Eagle News, because we live in interesting times.
Delicious, delicious.
I'm Wendell Garcia. Join me as I rediscover the joys of living here in the Philippines. Oh my God! Travel through taste. Discover your next adventure as we take you on our tasty travel.
Men and women from Hadini Zulu Kingdom of Lesotho Zero of Africa would like to greet you. A happy 50th anniversary of Eagle Broadcasting Company.
In these interesting times, these people have a big role to play. People behind news making. Your daily companions in service to humanity. Eagle News Service.
Ang pambansang almusal, pambansang almusal, ang pambansang almusal, pambansang almusal.
Lunes hanggang Biyernes, alas 5 ng umaga, dito lang sa Net 25.
Sa pagdami ng populasyon sa bansa, siya ring dami ng bilang ng mga batang kulang sa nutrisyon. Sa pag-aaral ng DepEd, nasa higit kalahating milyong mag-aaral ang sobrang payat o severely wasted mula kinder hanggang grade 6. At nasa higit 1.3 milyon naman ang payat o wasted. Kaya para maiwasan ang pagkagutom at malnutrisyon, inilunsad ang gulayan sa paaralan. Sa pakipagtulungan ng iba't ibang ahensya ng pamahalaan, mayroong garden area na itinalaga ang mga eskwelahan para pagtaniman ng iba't ibang klase ng gulay. Bukod sa gardening, tinuturuan din ang mga estudyante na pangalagaan ang kanilang itinanim sa loob ng bakuran ng paaralan at ang benepisyo sa pagkain ng gulay sa katawan. Hinihikayat din ng mga magulang at mga kabataan na magtanim ng gulay sa kanilang mga bakuran o bakanteng lote. Sa ilang paaralan, lalo na sa Metro Manila, napaunlad na rin ang urban vertical gardening, containerized gardening, aquaponics at ang fish ponds. Ang mga gulay na naani sa paaralan, ginagamit sa mga school feeding program o ibinebenta sa mga magulang. Ako po si Mean Corvera, kaisa sa pagsusulong ng gulayan sa mga paaralan. Bukod sa nagiging luntian ang paaralan, nalulutas rin ang problema sa malnutrition.
I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times. Wherever you're watching from around the world, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
We welcome our viewers here in the Philippines and around the world. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Cepeda.
And now to the news. Explosions boomed from Guatemala's fearsome Fuego volcano. It unleashed fresh torrents of mud and ash down slopes as the death toll from the previous eruption rose to at least 99. Now, fears of a new blow-up of the 12,346-foot volcano have stalked rescue workers since Sunday's eruption, buried entire villages on its southern flank. The National Forensic Sciences Agency said in a report that morgues had received the remains of 99 people killed as a result of the eruption. Only 28 have been identified so far. Now, experts are warning that heavy rains in the area could provoke avalanches due to the large flows of volcanic mud known as lahars since the eruption on Sunday. Volcanologists recorded the volcano exploding several times an hour, which generated a fresh 15,500 feet high column of gray ash. Now, the explosions are generating moderate avalanches that have an approximate distance of 800 to 1,000 meters, according to the Volcanology Institute. It also said the lahars could sweep down the mountain laden with concrete rocks up to a meter in diameter and tree trunks. Hundreds of rescue workers, including firefighters, police, and the military, were battling adverse conditions to search for remains. General Walter Sanchez, in charge of operations, said the heat from the ash and hot sediment made rescue work difficult. The killer eruption was the Central American country's strongest in 4 decades. It sent huge clouds of ash barreling over the surrounding area, blanketing roads, cars, and people in thick gray dust as a river of molten mud carved a path down the mountain, sweeping away entire villages. Officials said the speed and ferocity of the eruption took mountain communities by surprise, with many of the dead found in or around their homes.
Hundreds of oceanfront homes have been destroyed by lava flow from Hawaii's Kilauea volcano, officials said Tuesday. Janet Snyder, a spokeswoman for Hawaii County, said the lost homes were in addition to 117 others destroyed since the volcano began erupting on May 3, forcing the evacuation of 2,500 people. The latest 2 communities affected by the lava flow had been ordered evacuated beforehand, and there were no immediate reports of any casualties. One of the homes lost was that of Hawaii County Mayor Harry Kim. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory said that an overflight early Tuesday confirmed that lava had completely filled Kapoho Bay, inundated most of vacation land, and had covered all but the northern part of Kapoho beach lots. It said that at least a series of earthquakes had rattled the island for most of Monday night and into Tuesday morning, including one with a magnitude 5.5 that generated an ash plume. Scientists believe that volcanic activity can be precursor to a major eruption similar to the Kilauea eruptions in the mid-1920s.
The U.S. State Department has evacuated more staff from China over fears they may have been hit by a mysterious illness that has struck other colleagues in the Asian country and Cuba. The Chinese Foreign Ministry said that its investigation into the first case has not yielded any clues as to the cause of the incident. Take a look.
双方在上周末的磋商中，就一些具体的贸易合作领域，特别是农产品、能源领域进行了深入具体的探讨。中方愿意在相向而行的前提下，扩大自美进口。改革开放扩大进口是中国的既定战略。我们欢迎世界各国有竞争力的产品进入中国市场，将营造国际化、法治化的营商环境。 提供更加便利、透明、可预期的贸易条件，使包括美国在内的世界各国企业受益。谢谢。
Now, the case has come at a sensitive time in relations between the U.S. and China, where the two nations mired in negotiations aimed at preventing a trade war and exchanging heated rhetoric over Beijing's claims to the South China Sea. The department said that a number of individuals were sent to the United States for further evaluation following initial medical screenings. U.S. officials have said that the employees' symptoms were consistent with the ailments that U.S. diplomats experienced in Cuba last year. Last year, 24 U.S. diplomats and their family members in Cuba fell victim to mysterious attacks that left them with injuries resembling brain trauma. 10 Canadian diplomats and their relatives also suffered this strange illness. Reported symptoms have included dizziness, headaches, tinnitus, fatigue, cognitive issues, visual problems, ear complaints, and hearing loss, plus difficulty sleeping. Separately, a group of researchers at the University of Michigan suggested that a poorly engineered ultrasonic transmitter designed to eavesdrop on conversations may have caused the injuries in Cuba. They also said their experiments managed to replicate the metallic chirping sound U.S. diplomats heard in conjunction with the attacks in Cuba. Now, this raising the doubt that the likelihood that the injuries were the result of ultrasonic signals.
President Trump is set to meet with North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un on June 12 at Sentosa, a Singapore hotel, for the first face-to-face meeting between sitting American and North Korean leaders. Just last year, the two leaders were openly threatening each other with possible nuclear war. But now they'll be sitting down to discuss the possible dismantling of North Korea's nuclear program. Go Myung-hyun, research fellow at the Asan Institute for Policy Studies in Seoul, says North Korea is unlikely to agree to give up its nuclear weapons, but expects Kim Jong-un to propose a staggered denuclearization. Let's listen in.
Very minimum, I think the U.S. and North Korea can agree on a set of principles, such as the complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, that the U.S. is not going to invade North Korea, and that both sides are going to solve the crisis peacefully without using the military option. That's pretty much the baseline expectation as an outcome from the summit. But in addition, what North Korea, United States wants clearly is complete denuclearization. But if that's not realistic, then I think the U.S. would like to see a limitation to North Korea's nuclear capability. In that sense, the North Korea's ICBM capability is something that the United States would like to see go. And if North Korea declares it's going to hold on to the ICBMs, then I think the United States probably is going to walk away from the summit. I wouldn't expect North Korea to give up its nukes from the get-go. I think North Korea is going to propose to the United States a staggered denuclearization schedule, meaning North Korea is going to give up some of its nuclear capability in exchange for getting concessions from the United States and other countries, including South Korea.
Meanwhile, President Donald Trump's attorney said North Korean leader Kim Jong-un begged on his hands and knees for a summit with the U.S. president. According to the Wall Street Journal, they said they were going to go to nuclear war with us. They were going to defeat us in a nuclear war. This is what Rudy Giuliani told the Tel Aviv Investment Conference. The Trump attorney also said that with the summit rescheduled, the United States has the upper hand. Take a look.
As historic summit between North Korea and the U.S. draws near, Human Rights Watch says that while it doesn't expect human rights to be a top-shelf issue, it must not get pushed off the table. The isolated North has been accused of a litany of state-sanctioned rights abuses, including extrajudicial killing, torture, brutal crackdowns on dissent, and even kidnapping foreign citizens.
North and South. We're realistic to recognize that this is not going to be the top shelf issue. This is going to be something that ideally will be set out as part of an ongoing working group discussion that would be bringing recommendations to the leaders about how to handle these issues. Certainly, Japan is going to be pressing very hard for answers about their Japanese nationals who have been abducted by North Korea. There's very real possibility that we'll also see discussions about family reunifications between North and South Korea. We're seeing, the South Korean government sort of run away from human rights in a way that is not helpful at all. In the sense that the South Korean government all of a sudden says it doesn't want to talk about North Korean human rights because it's concerned about giving offense. That kind of attitude by the Moon Jae-in government in South Korea is not helpful at all, because it indicates to North Korea that if they just play tough, they might be able to get away with it. And this foundation is supposed to do research on violations of human rights by North Korea, but it's also supposed to play a role in formulating South Korea's policy towards violations by North Korea. And the fact that it still hasn't been set up 2 years after it was supposed to be brought into existence indicates a degree of hesitation that is unacceptable by South Korea when we talk about human rights issues. For us, we're really quite concerned about ensuring that human rights continue to be part of this ongoing dialogue, and it doesn't get pushed off the table by discussions on denuclearization, or whether it be talking about missile technology. Everybody has to understand that the North Korean human rights abuses are part of the fabric of North Korea, and when you engage and deal with North Korea, you also have to deal with that as well. North Korea continues to operate essentially a gulag system. It has many hundreds of thousands of people under detention. It also restricts freedom of expression, association, public assembly. It is an authoritarian state where anybody who steps out of line or speaks up can face a maximum penalty.
will be coming your way when Eagle News International returns.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami ko ospital na napuntahan, pero wala rin nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila-Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko nang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
The machine is back at it. Guns N' Roses, not in this lifetime tour. Welcome to the rock spectacle of 2018 comes to the Philippines. November 11th, 2018 at Philippine Arena, Bulacan. Quick sale for fan club members on June 8th, 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Public on sale June 9, 10 a.m. Don't miss Guns N' Roses. Brought to you by MMI Live and Prestige Worldwide.
ASEAN in Focus. Monday to Friday, 2 to 2:30 p.m.
Two United Nations agencies signed a landmark agreement with the government of Myanmar, which they hope will provide hundreds of thousands of Rohingya refugees with a pathway to return home from overcrowded camps across the border in Bangladesh.
Dignified. The Secretary General welcomes the Memorandum of Understanding reached by the government of Myanmar, UNHCR, and the UN Development Program on the UN system's support to create conditions conducive to voluntary, safe, dignified, and sustainable Rohingya refugee returns from Bangladesh and their reintegration in Rakhine State. As these conditions are not yet in place, he welcomes the agreement by the government of Myanmar to take this first step to address the root causes of the conflict in Rakhine State. The Secretary General encourages Myanmar to take decisive steps to implement the agreement. He also reiterates his call for an end to the violence, accountability for perpetrators, redress for victims, humanitarian access to all in Rakhine State, and to the implementation of the recommendation of the Rakhine Advisory Commission.
MOU, which was officially signed by the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, the UN Development Program, and the government of Myanmar, will give these two UN agencies access to Rakhine State, including to refugees' places of origin and potential new settlement areas that the UN has so far been able to access since the violence escalated at the end of last August. The agreement will also allow UNHCR and the UNDP to carry out needs assessment in affected communities and strengthen the capacity of local authorities to support the voluntary repatriation process. The Advisory Commission on Rakhine State, a neutral and impartial body composed of 6 local experts and 3 international experts, chaired by former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan, has proposed concrete measures for improving the welfare of all people in Rakhine State. Its recommendations include establishing a clear and voluntary pathway to citizenship and ensuring freedom of movement for all people there, irrespective of religion, ethnicity, or citizenship status. The Rohingya have not been granted any level of citizenship or citizenship rights, which is a major impediment to their return home. Taiwan's military is holding an anti-airborne operation drill as part of the week-long military Hankwang exercise. They mobilized more than 4,000 soldiers at a key air base in central city of Taichung. The drill mimicked enemy forces parachuting into the air base and attempted to take over the command center. The drill comes amid rising threats from China, which has intensified sea and air patrol near Taiwan. Relations between Taipei and Beijing have deteriorated since President Tsai Ing-wen was elected in 2016, as her government refuses to acknowledge that Taiwan is part of one China. China held its own live fire drills in April in the Taiwan Strait, the narrow waterway separating the Chinese mainland from Taiwan, following weeks of air and naval maneuvers in the area. The United Nations reported that in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, so far 27 people have died from the Ebola virus disease. Speaking to reporters in New York Wednesday, the United Nations spokesperson Stéphane Dujarric said the United Nations Children's Fund, or UNICEF, has since the start of the outbreak have reached more than 300,000 people with life-saving information about how to avoid contracting the deadly virus.
According to the latest figures, a total of 58 Ebola virus disease cases have been reported in the DRC, 37 confirmed cases, 14 probable cases, and 7 suspected cases. In all, 27 people have died. the World Health Organization stresses that it is important to remain alert, as just one person with Ebola can provoke numerous new cases merely by attending a social event.
In other news, a fire broke out at London's luxury Mandarin Oriental Hotel, with dozens of firefighters deployed to tackle the blaze that pumped thick smoke high into the air. Take a look. The 12-story hotel was evacuated and crowds quickly built up outside as around 120 firefighters and 20 fire engines tackled the blaze on the roof. Now, the five-star hotel completed what it called the most extensive restoration in its 115-year history only last week, after nearly 2 years of work. With almost 200 rooms, the hotel is located near Harrods department store in Knightsbridge, an upmarket area of central London. Just last week, hotel management boasted the renovation work was designed to confirm this historic hotel's position as one of the best in the world. Now, traffic was brought to a standstill as fire crews battled to bring the blaze under control. Some train services were also disrupted. Transport for London said in a tweet, the fire has brought back memories of last year's deadly inferno at the Grenfell Tower block that killed 72 people. A spokesman for the hotel said they would provide an update as soon as they could.
Despite Jordanian Prime Minister Hani Molki stepping down, thousands of Jordanians continue to demonstrate over IMF-backed austerity measures in the capital Amman. Doctors, lawyers, and teachers staged a strike across Jordan. They're protesting over IMF-backed austerity measures, including a proposed income tax law that have sparked a week of angry demonstrations. If passed, the bill would raise taxes of employees by at least 5% and on companies by between 20 and 40%. The bill, yet to be approved by Parliament, was the latest in a series of austerity measures since Amman secured a $723 million loan from the IMF in 2016. Since January, resource-poor Jordan, which suffers from high unemployment and poverty, has seen repeated price rises, including for staples such as bread, as well as extra taxes on basic goods. Fuel prices have risen 5 times since the start of the year, while electricity bills have surged by 55% since February. Here's more.
Even after the resignation of Prime Minister Hani Mukti, this is not the main demand of the people. The people are demanding real economic reform, as well as the removal of the new income tax law and adding subsidies for basic necessities, as well as reducing the taxes on electricity and gas.
In other news, French urban free climber Alain Robert attempted to scale the world's 5th tallest building, getting more than halfway up the 123-story Lot World Tower in Seoul before security forced him to abandon the ascent. Take a look. The 55-year-old, dubbed the French Spider-Man, made his way up the building barehanded and without ropes as staff pursued him from inside. Now, Robert has scaled more than 100 structures without ropes or other safety equipment, setting a record for most buildings climbed unassisted, according to Guinness World Records. His successes include many of the world's tallest skyscrapers and iconic buildings, such as the Eiffel Tower, the Sydney Opera House, the Petronas Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur, and the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, where he used suction devices and a safety rope as it has no hand or footholds. He was taken to the rooftop on a maintenance cradle and then arrested. And as he awaited processing by police, he said his climb was to celebrate the recent peacemaking efforts between the two Koreas, and he hoped the authorities would take that into account. We'll take a short break. Eagle News International, we'll be right back.
Using Regent potato crackers, thin in size, big on flavor. Available in 4 flavors: seaweed, cheese, onion cheese, and French garlic. Get yours now. Available in all leading supermarkets by Regent.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami po ospital na napuntahan, pero wala ring nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko nang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
President Trump's top economic advisor defended his policies on imposing new tariffs against close allies. He said that despite the conflict, he believes President Trump will champion free trade during a weekend trip to Canada for a summit of the G7 group of wealthy industrialized countries. According to White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow, the negotiations between the U.S. and China regarding trade will lower the trade deficit if it works out. He also argues that President Trump shouldn't be blamed for trade tensions with key allies. Let's listen in.
Hello, everybody. I'm Larry Kudlow. President Trump will be meeting with Prime Minister Trudeau and President Macron. Important bilaterals. The negotiations between the U.S. and China regarding trade will lower the trade deficit if it works out. There are no deals at the moment. If you lower the tariff rates and if you lower the non-tariff barriers and you permit increased U.S. export sales, we are the most competitive economy in the world, so we will get that job done, then the trade gap will probably fall. That's how that will work. The President Trump is very clear with respect to his trade reform efforts that we will do what is necessary to protect the United States, its businesses, and its workforce, so that we may have disagreements, we may have tactical disagreements, but he has always said, and I agree, tariffs are a tool in that effort, and people should recognize how serious he is in that respect. Don't blame Trump. Blame the nations that have broken away from those conditions. Very important point, all right? I'm not here at the podium to call out countries and individual names and so forth, but you know from our own work, Trump's trying to fix this broken system. It was a good system, I agree with you, and it lasted for a bunch of decades. But that system has been broken in the last 20 years plus. The World Trade Organization, for example, has become completely ineffectual. And even when it makes decisions, even in the rare moments when it makes decisions, important countries don't even abide by them. As I've said before, I think he's the strongest trade reformer in many decades. I think what we're engaged with here is trade disputes that need to be solved. But I'll come back to my point. No administration in either party has made this case in a full-throated, comprehensive way, as President Trump is now doing. I think that's the difference. International multilateral organizations are not going to determine American policy. I think the President's made that very clear.
Meanwhile, China has offered to buy $70 billion worth of U.S. goods if Washington drops plans to impose tariffs in return. Now, top Chinese economic advisor Liu He made the offer during weekend trade talks in Beijing with a U.S. delegation led by Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross, according to the Wall Street Journal. The new purchases would include soybeans, natural gas, crude oil, and coal. Now, during a regular news briefing Thursday in Beijing, the Chinese Commerce Ministry confirmed the two sides had discussed detailed proposals during the trade negotiations.
中美双方在上周末的磋商中，就一些具体的贸易合作领域，特别是农产品、能源领域，进行了深入具体的探讨。中方愿意在相向而行的前提下，扩大自美进口。改革开放、扩大进口是中国的既定战略。我们欢迎世界各国有竞争力的产品进入中国市场。 将营造国际化、法治化的营商环境，提供更加便利、透明、可预期的贸易条件，使包括美国在内的世界各国企业受益。谢谢。中美双方在上周末的磋商中。
Washington's trade battles with China, Europe, Mexico, and others are an effort to make those countries buy more U.S. goods and force down the U.S. trade deficit, which President Trump sees as a job killer and threat to the American industrial base.
Scientists in South Africa launched the world's first optical telescope linked to a radio telescope, combining the eyes and ears to try to unravel the secrets of the universe. Here's more.
For the stars. This new telescope in South Africa's remote Karoo Desert is a unique opportunity for scientists to unravel the secrets of the universe. It's been conceived as the eyes of the 64-dish Meerkat radio telescope located 200 kilometers away. The final project will be part of the Square Kilometer Array, or SKA, the world's most powerful radio telescope system.
So for the first time, I'm told, globally, you will have a dedicated telescope that will track a radio telescope, so that if there are discoveries that are being made in the radio telescope, you'd be able to make follow-up.
The new telescope takes extremely high-resolution images of what the other telescope observes, allowing scientists to follow the astrological event underway.
And the reason we do that is because that information tells us much more than just the one or the other channels.
Professor Groot comes from Radboud University in the Netherlands, one of the 3 countries involved in the project. He hopes to witness explosions of supernovas or dying stars.
The explosions are like stars that are at the end of their lives, and all of a sudden they light up for a brief time. Maybe for a few hours, maybe for a day, maybe for a week. So we have a very limited amount of time to gather the information and learn what really happened in that universe.
The mystery of space has haunted us since the dawn of time, and the answer might one day be found here in Africa, the cradle of humankind.
Eagle News International will be right back.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami ko ospital na napuntahan, pero wala ring nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko nang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
Welcome to the garden. A world that recaptures the value of life, creating your moments, kindling your passion, worth reliving over and over. This is your world, your life, your garden.
Landmarks, Linggo, alas 6 hanggang alas 7 ng gabi.
Violence erupted in Ladybrand, South Africa, just 2 weeks after a peaceful protest there. Let's find out more from Priscilla Chulu.
Roads are blocked and tires are burning. Nearly 2 weeks after a peaceful protest, things have taken a violent turn. It began in Manyatseng. A roadblock was set up at the main entrance to town. There were reports from residents that 2 taxis had been set afire. What we're seeing here is a highly organized assault on public roads and major freeways in an effort to send a message of dissent to the local municipality. Protesters have been setting up minor roadblocks to draw police to urban areas, while others tackle more major roads. For the past couple of hours, police have been falling back, and protesters have been inching their way towards the main town of Ladybrand. Many motorists have altered their routes to this road, as it is one of the few roads left open that leads to highways going in and out of town. Protesters, through the residents of Plattsburgh, were able to set large stones across the road. They then burned tires in front of the bridge. Upon the arrival of the police, the residents dispersed and the police, along with other motorists, were able to quickly clear the road. Locals believe this road will continue to be a target as the protesters intensify their efforts throughout the night.
Last time there was a big problem when there was protest here. People were stealing everything from the shop. They took everything from my shop. We are very scared when we hear that there's a protest again tomorrow.
When they make the xenophobia, they run to our shops and they're damaging our property and they're stealing all my things. So we're scared also for our life. So that's why we run to the safe place. Because of these people, we are foreigner and they take the advantage.
Unfortunately, some of the diversion, when we have got legitimate march to our leaders, some of people take advantage of the poor people. These are Africans. It does not matter whether you come from America, you come from Asia, you come from Africa. We are all South African. We are all Africans. We don't want xenophobic tendencies. What we are raising is not things we are dreaming. These are constitutional things. Always people like to, when you raise issues, they are labels. We want the law to be adhered to. We want our people to be saved. That's the bottom line. We are stressing one thing. This is a peaceful march. Nobody must be hurt. Nobody must be insulted.
We want want municipality to fix the roads, the potholes, even the road that will go to the traffic department is the worst road that ever.
I'm ward councillor in opposition here today, and I'm marching with the residents of the whole of Mansopa today because the budget of this municipality does not speak to serve the needs of the people in this municipality. The people in this municipality have had the same issues for years and years and years, and it does not seem like they are being listened to.
We are not here to nurse individual feelings. We are here to raise communities' issues. And when we do this, those who think they are going to stop us, this is like a train of steam that we are going to move. They must move out of the people. We are not going to wait, and we are serious. It's not a joke.
They have to prove a total inability of the municipality giving proper services. If there are allegations of corruption, etc., that must be proven. It can't just be alleged. It must be proven in order to make their case stronger.
This is just the beginning of the process. If within 7 days they don't go, we are going to make sure we intensify our processes. Until they go, we are not going to stop here. We are going to ensure that they make sure that they go. There will be march after march every month from now on until she realizes that she no longer has power over us as the community.
Earlier in the day, police cars blaring sirens led a motorcade of more than 40 military vehicles through the center of Lady Brand town, halting traffic and alarming standers-by. The motorcade exited the town in the direction of Manyatseng and paused briefly along the outskirts of the Manyatseng township before moving along. This happened around the same time the protests in Manyatseng were picking up speed. Police, however, say that the military's presence was not connected to the protest and that the military was on its way to Forisberg for a routine drill. Reporting from Lady Brand, South Africa, I'm Priscilla Chulu for Eagle News, and I am 1 with 25.
Here's Ben Bernaldez for our sports news.
Defending champion Golden State, powered by 43 points from Kevin Durant, moved to the brink of a third NBA title in 4 seasons Wednesday by defeating the Cleveland Cavaliers 110-102. The Warriors seized a commanding 3-0 lead in the best-of-7 NBA Finals, and by winning Game 4 on Friday, can complete the first championship series sweep since Cleveland was blanked by San Antonio in 2007. No team has ever recovered from a 3-0 deficit to win a playoff series, but the Cavaliers made the best comeback in NBA Finals history in 2016 from 3-1 down to swipe a title from Golden State Warriors. Durant added 12 rebounds and 7 assists to his career-high playoff scoring total, but it was not until his three-pointer with 49 seconds remaining to give the Warriors a 106-100 lead that Cleveland's fate was sealed. Durant's last basket was eerily like a three-pointer he made late in Game 3 last year against the Cavs that clinched a Golden State victory. It was another dagger in the title hopes of Cleveland star LeBron James, who had 33 points, 10 rebounds and 11 assists, while Kevin Love added 20 points and 13 rebounds for the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers had been 8-1 at home in the playoffs with 8 wins in a row since losing their first-round opener to Indiana. But the Warriors improved to 10-2 against the Cavaliers since Durant joined Golden State before last season. In tennis, Simona Halep insists she feels no pressure, no expectation as she looks to reach a 4th Grand Slam final at the French Open on Thursday. The 26-year-old Romanian tackles 2016 Roland Garros winner and reigning Wimbledon champion Garbine Muguruza for a place in Saturday's final. World number 1 Halep was runner-up in Paris in 2014, where she was beaten by Maria Sharapova, and last year going down to Helena Ostapenko after squandering a set and 3-0 lead. Her slam misery continued at the Australian Open in January, where she lost in 3 sets to Karolina Wozniacki. On Wednesday, Halep looked anything but the top seed, slipping 4-0 down in the first set before she rallied to defeat Kerber, a 2-time major winner who had exited in the first round in Paris in the last 2 years. It was also a match which witnessed a colossal 99 unforced errors. Halep is aware she cannot afford another poor start on Thursday against 24-year-old Muguruza, who has been tested just once in Paris, and that was in the first round where fellow former winner Svetlana Kuznetsova pushed her to a tiebreak in the first set. The Spanish third seed trashed Sharapova 6-2, 6-1 in the quarterfinals, condemning the Russian to her worst Grand Slam defeat in more than 6 years. For EN Sports, I'm Ben Bernaldez and I'm 1 with 25.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you, Ben. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr. Also check out our boards and Pinterest and pictures on Instagram. I'm Sam Cepeda. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Alma Angeles, and
we're 1 with 25.